Michelob Ultra Zero. Zero alcohol, ultra smooth taste, just 29 calories.
Hey, let's get out there.
Stay in the game with Michelob Ultra Zero.
Always good first contact. If they can get into system, they've got the tools to put the ball down and then just eliminate errors. You know, it's a little bit of a new vibe for this K-State team, a new rhythm with these hitters, but they're all capable of being really great for the Wildcats.
Jason Mansfield in his third year as the head coach for the Wildcats. 2023 went 16-11, perhaps snubbed for the NCAA tournament that year. Last season had a lot coming back, brought in some key transfers, and it just did not coalesce the way they had hoped. They ended up with a 10-win season, looking to rebound from that. Armed with a new recruiting class that we'll get to coming up a little bit later. One that ranks among the best in the nation. 6 strong, added to a core of veterans led by the new center, Ava LeGrand, who has been off the bench a role player for K-State the last few years. Jordan Williams, transfer from Kentucky in her second season, will start it off. The 2025 season is underway for K-State volleyball. Hope you enjoy it here from Manhattan. Clinton trying to throw into the corner, kept in on the near side by Dobbs. The Retrievers want to hang their hat on extending rallies, and we have a long rally going in this first set. Clinton able to go off the block for the match opening kill.
Yeah, Clinton does a nice job. First time she had an opportunity to attack, she kept the ball in play, gave her team another opportunity, and then when the time is right, use high hands off the block. That's an automatic kill.
A redshirt junior is Clinton, but she's already indicated this is likely her last year. She wants to go out with all of her teammates who came in together. Into the net on the blowback on the block at the middle by Kansas State's Brenna Schmidt. That was Laura Fuhrer, freshman, who got up into the twine. And the call against UMBC has K-State up 2. The Retrievers and the Wildcats met last year early on September 1st in a tournament up in Purdue, and K-State won in straight sets, 14-9 and 14. As Williams at the service there will rotate out. And Kansas State will receive as the libero, Hannah Howard, is back to put it in play. Reagan Fox roofed on the near side.
Nice block there by Hannah Dodds. Talked about her offensively, but also has the ability to put up a nice block, get her middle closer to those attackers.
Helen Frankovich, the 6'3" junior, another returner as a starter. Dobbs and Frankovich, the 2 that are returning as starters up front. Right side, Retrievers get dug, but over and misfired on the return by Lamas. Claudia Lamas.
Yeah, just a little too sharp on that overpass. A little bit of hesitancy there at the net. Who's going to take that ball?
Still a mistake by the Retrievers. K-State by 1. They'll serve it up. Just across the tape. Dobbs. Roofs!
Nice setup there by Ava LeGrand on the right side, getting Brenna Schmidt close. Brenna so good as a blocker, leading the team last year with blocks. You want to get her as close as you can to those attackers, allow her to get her hands on as many volleyballs as possible.
LeGrand shoves one back in the face of Frankovich. On a dive, Myers keeps it alive. Clinton on the feed from Pond, couldn't finish. And then Dobbs inside a little bit from the pin, able to sneak it through Brenna Schmidt's hands.
Yeah, Dobbs, nice job. High attack with a big block in front of you as an outside hitter. Got to be able to ricochet that ball through the high hands. Have them reaching, trying to guess where you're going. That's why it's good to be versatile on the outside.
LeGrand pushes it out to Clinton. High set for Dobbs. Pond covers, but it's out. Last season, Chauncey Kreider was telling us about how it had been a team that got a little bit too caught up in trying to be more offensive. They got away from their style, which was defense, defense, pass, serve, receive, dig. So far being a thorn in K-State side early, as you see LeGrand go up and put it down. Another lefty at the center position.
Yeah, it's just a nice weapon to have at the net. An offensive setter, able to make the block really stay honest, and that opens up those hitters.
Ryan Smolder, Liz Wagner-Bush with you. Sophie Smith also with us as our sideline reporter. We'll give you some stories from her a little bit later. As LeGrand unable to keep that one turned in. And Dobbs working right into that big block of LeGrand and Schmidt. Evens the score. And she'll go back to serve. Top 10 recruit coming out of Ohio. Schmidt upped by Frankovich. Shelly Myers' first swing gets blocked. A repeat. And a finish on the turn by Jalen Brown, the USF transfer.
They already see that defensive effort for UMBC paying off. A nice cross-court dig there in the back row, and then the finish. Wow, that was nice inside the block.
Brown, high credentials out of high school, never really materialized at South Florida. Gets the chance here at UMBC. She'll go back on it. And is there a touch? There is.
Well, I definitely think Coach Kreider on the sideline might be as excited as his players on the court. I love it.
Fired up. It's hard. Jason Mansfield spoke about this. The first match, you don't really know what another team is going to do. So there is a little bit of a feeling out process by both teams. Kind of see how things will roll. LeGrand forced to bump set that out to Myers, and it was well short. So now K-State's given up a couple of points in a row. How do they, with this veteran group that's on the floor, turn it around?
Yeah, with a front row setter, now you only have 2 attackers, so that limits you offensively just a little bit. So in a good pass, you got to get that ball fast to your attackers.
Myers, and into the net anyway on Frankovich.
You see the tempo for the sets to the outside for the Wildcats is pretty fast, and that really helped give Myers some seams to find the floor.
Talked with Ava LeGrand about that, the style and the tempo, and she felt like that kind of played to her strength. That was what she played more in high school as well. Fast offense, fast sets. Again for Myers, and this time able to slip it in the campfire.
Yeah, whenever you can put some pace and tempo on the ball, put so much pressure on that defense. And when you're going up against big blocks like K-State will be doing in the Big 12, you know, it's really going to pay off and really help the attackers.
Like Clinton, Myers, a former All-Big 12 rookie team member a few seasons ago, now in her final campaign, a product out of Lincoln, Nebraska. And Myers singled out by Jason Mansfield, along with Reagan Fox, as the two that have had the best fall of any player on the K-State roster. They have just been lights out as they approach the start of the season. Deep serve is too long from Molly Penn. And a service error by the Retrievers. Their first.
Yeah, Myers really has, you know, she's one of those just very steady players. She makes smart plays. She finds a way to get kills, and she's just very consistent and has been throughout her whole career. You know, you ask her to do some play right side, play outside. She's kind of done it all for the Wildcats.
Into the net. Who was it? And it was on the attack by Brown. So an attack here by Jalen Brown gives Kansas State another point.
Yeah, you like the aggressiveness, but just a little bit too much there, grabbing the top of the net.
Good serve by LeGrand. Back to Brown, and she cut it inside the block and got it off the head of Myers.
Well, I had definitely noticed when they were warming up that Brown could put some heat on the ball when she hits it. And this one, Myers able to get her shoulder up to play the ball. That's a heck of a hit there on the outside.
That's what's called a heavy arm.
Yes.
Ellen Brown swinging at it. Perfect pass for Legrand. Sets up Myers on the right. So there you go, just what you talked about. Jason Mansfield said Myers is in the best shape of her life. She had worked extremely hard, wanted to get quicker. Got more lift on her jump. And here she is having a fantastic finish to her career. K-State hopes in her senior season. Legrand plays that, so Sims will set. Clinton misplayed in the back line by Dobbs. Tight. And a block by the Wildcats will result in 4 hits.
Yeah, not much you could do there. Tight ball. Tried to play it off the block, but the retriever's not able to dig it out.
What a save. That was Izzy Osvig, the freshman or sophomore setter. Clinton over her head, able to put it off the block. And K-State trying to spread the wealth here early. They've had some errors, but now starting to settle in a little bit.
Yeah, you know, there's definitely weapons across the net there for K-State. And if they can force teams to give free balls, force teams to give them an opportunity to run that tempo, I think they'll cause some trouble for a lot of teams.
Into the net again on UMBC. Look at this. Oh,
down,
base,
yep.
yeah.
When she fell, when she came down to the ground.
So Lamas, the guilty party, another attack error. That's 6 attack errors by UMBC. Of course, 1 or 2 of those have been blocks. Quick set to Williams, touched at the middle. Right side again, Jalen Brown. And a little bit of a warning bell right now for the America East Conference the rest of the season, that Brown is going to be a trouble spot for anybody in this league.
Absolutely, she's got quite a cross-court shot on both sides of the net.
3 kills on 4 swings for Brown in the early going. We're in the midway point of this first set. She'll serve now from the back row. Clinton up by Howard, but nobody else can get there.
Yeah, Clinton's a tough person to kind of defend. She's high, she's above the block, and she's able to hit that deep corner. Really nice, effective shot by Clinton.
Off the block, an answer by UMBC by Lamas. I don't know if you could hear that on a crowd mic, but Casey Kreider was asking Molly Farragher, or Mary Farragher, our floor official, if there was a media timeout, which there is at 15 points. We'll head to a timeout. I think he was thinking about calling a timeout as K-State went on a little mini run, but his team answers back.
Yeah, he'll keep that in his pocket.
2 timeouts for each team per set. Back set by Legrand, and Fox with the hammer. We head to a timeout. Kansas State down a couple of points early. Starting to find some rhythm. Now hitting near 300 in this first break and first set. Steve Astor, top assistant for the Wildcats, the associate head coach, talking with K-State in the huddle as Jason Mansfield stands nearby. And under Jason Mansfield, K-State 9-4 their first season, which included 4 wins over top 25 opponents. And then you see what happened last year, 5-8. Jason Mansfield was pretty open about he wanted to get that changed and get it back to what it was in year 1 when this arena opened, where it was a feared place to play. The 4 losses they had in year 1 were all to top 10 teams. And when this building was open, that changed a little bit last year. And thus, here we go, starting the season at home with a couple of tournaments. His team here lately starting to find their offensive rhythm. And now hitting .286 as a squad. 3 kills each from Clinton and Myers. Reagan Fox got her first a moment ago. Seems like after some early butterflies, or just trying to figure things out, K-State starting to settle in a little bit.
Yeah, I think definitely that tempo is causing some trouble for UMBC with their blocking, and then, you know, K-State's doing a nice job of moving that ball around.
Clinton able to block one-on-one against Lamas. Free pass to K-State. LeGrand sets Schmidt on a slide, and that'll end up as a point and a kill. Another area that Jason Mansfield said he wanted Ava LeGrand to work on, was trying to get the middles and the slide game working a little bit.
Yeah, so important, and we saw such growth in Brenna Schmidt here over the last couple of years in her attacking ability and being able to produce offensively for the Wildcats, not just defensively, and so important to get her involved. She's getting up in transition, and you want to reward her for that.
Off the high hands of K-State block, the Wildcats. Myers from the pipe! Boy, you can really see the lift that Myers is getting this year comparative to years past. Way up there to get this one.
Yeah, and you saw the stack play. Brenna Schmidt running a quick in the middle, and then over the top you've got Myers coming, and that tempo, again, it's so fast. That's going to be fun to watch as it progresses, and they get that kind of rhythm down as the season progresses.
That's certainly different than what we are accustomed to seeing at Kansas State. The last few years, they had those high sets to the outside. No more. They are flying around. Clinton, another quick one. Touch, yes, no. On a first, there would be a touch call from the floor official on the far side, but that is not the case. Tony Chan, our up official today. Mary Farragher, our R2. Misty Kulis, Ken Corum, line judges, all assigned by the Big 12. Touched by Clinton on the attack by the setter. Anaya gets it back, popped over. Bumped out for Dobbs. High hand shot up by Myers, but it will just land in the crowd, and another long rally goes the way of the Retrievers.
They saw warming up, the Retrievers really were working with that out of system, you know, someone other than the setter taking that second ball, and that's just part of playing tough defense. You're going to have people able to step in and give your team an opportunity to turn that ball into an offensive point.
LeGrand trying to drop it down, could not, and then off the block, Dobbs picks up her 5th, and it's a 1-point set. We open the night talking about Dobbs and Clinton. Clinton 3 kills, hitting 167. Dobbs heating up with 5 kills, hitting 400. Clinton unable to get it down in front of Howard. LeGrand over Schmidt, able to get it over to Clinton. And a block by Clinton.
Good read there by Clinton on that slide. She mirrored that middle as she moved behind the setter. Didn't give her any room to sneak that ball through. It's a good finish.
Is that a principle of the swing block, to follow the slide like that, or not?
Yeah, when you have a setter in the front row, you've got 2 attackers, and really that outside hitter, if they're running a slide, that's your responsibility. So you've got to get out there and put up a good block. Because the middle, like in that instance, this last play there, Brenna Schmidt got held because she had to stay neutral to try to know which way. And with the tempo of that slide, that might leave you one-on-one blocking on the pins.
Wildcats unable to stop Frankovich there. Middle blocker who, in the junior campaign, one of the few returners with starting experience. Sims a bit of a misplay on the serve receive. Myers trying to clean it up. Quicker set for Myers. Throw to the corner. Out left, Brown, who showed some early. And now Clinton from that pipe set in the back middle could not keep it in. And Jason Mansfield feeling his team a little bit off kilter and not quite in the same rhythm they were in, will burn a timeout, his first. So Kansas State in a bit of a dogfight to begin here against UMBC, the Retrievers, and not to put too much of a pun on it. We'll talk about this UMBC team. We'll talk about their defensive intensity. Let's throw it to Sophie Smith, who has more on Casey Kreider and what they're trying to do. As we talked about, a team that wants to make things a little bit more hectic.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, when we talked to head coach Casey Kreider from UMBC earlier this week, he said that their main focus this past spring and fall was one thing, just getting back to being that team that's tough to score on. He told us they broke down a bunch of analytics, figuring out different ways to extend rallies, and just being that team that can grind down others. He admitted that they're not all the way there yet, but compared to last year, the defensive progress has been night and day.
I think we've seen that already. You know, last year, he threw out some numbers to us. It was a great conversation with him when we visited with him. Liz, thank you, Sophie. But I think you can already see they're flying around, they're pursuing, they're doing things that, if that was their intensity or their identity in years past, it seems like they've recovered a little bit of that.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the emphasis on defense. You see he gets fired up when the defense is turning the defense into points offensively. And really, when you're playing, when your team like UMBC, who's going on the road against a Big 12 opponent, they have to score points defensively.
Former two-time All-American himself, a two-time All-American setter at Pepperdine. First 1 year with the men's program there, and then went on to Stanford, where he coached alongside Jason Mansfield. 7 years as the top assistant at Miami before taking this job. Out of the timeout, K-State back on their right foot offensively as they get a kill with Myers. Prior to that finish, K-State had just 2 kills in their last 12 swings. Brown able to get the touch. We're tied again.
You see a little bit of the evolution of the outside attacker, almost just swinging to hit those fingertips. You know, it's a bit of a thing, you know, where how do you defend that? You know, and so sometimes you'll see blockers pull their hands if they're constantly getting beat with that, just kind of that fingertip touch. And with replay nowadays and the ability to challenge those sorts of things, it makes that outside hitter able to really make some difficult plays on the outside.
Clint was just trying to get it over, but a heads-up play by Fuhrer, the sophomore. 2 hitters run left side of the center. Myers, the second, gets the finish to tie it up and side out. Both of these teams a bit sloppy here in the early going, hitting less than 200%. Both now tied with a dozen kills, but already 18 digs in his first set by UMBC. They have done a good job of getting the ball up off the ground. LeGrand, it was a good serve. Standing roll shot for Brown. Choices, Williams. And the threat of LeGrand and her attack seemed to hold the block.
Yeah, they have to remember she's back row, so can't jump and take the ball over. It's one of those things you also have to pay attention to. as a blocker there at the net.
As you said, back row, she's not going to attack. There's no reason for the block to be on her, but it did look like Fuhrer was a step slow to close out on Williams. And now back-to-back kills have K-State in front by 2, and Casey Kreider's going to take a timeout.
A little frustration there on those attacks and those kills for K-State. It's not really a lot of power behind them, but good placement by the Wildcats.
Well, we talked about it at the outset about K-State wanting to be good at home and start the season at home. Sophie Smith has more on this after the Cats went on the road last year to begin the year with some really tough ones. Things are a little bit different now this year, right, Sophie?
Yeah, Brian, after opening last season with a really tough road matches at Purdue and Creighton, Coach Mansfield and the Cats are just especially excited to get to start this year's campaign at home. And he told me that playing 4 matches in 9 days on their own court is a huge advantage, not just for the comfort and routine, but for the energy that they get from their home crowd. And he just really believes that this home stretch help them settle in, build that confidence, and really set the tone for the rest of the season.
It's interesting, Liz, but some coaches will tell you, scheduling-wise, especially when it comes to the non-conference, they're going to schedule super tough because they want to challenge their team before conference play. And in some respects, American East, like UMBC, you're doing it. This is the way you make money as a program and pay for travel as you get the buy games, if you will, coming to tournaments. But on the other side, K-State last year had a veteran team. They wanted to kind of measure where they were at and took a gamble, and it didn't pay off. And it seems like Jason Mansfield this year went to, all right, we're going to try and get confidence mentally with our team before we get to the rigors of Big 12 play.
Yeah, and you know, K-State still has some tough opponents coming in, but it's nice to do that at home and not always on the road, and kind of see where you're at. It gives you a gauge. When you get on the road and you're struggling, it's hard because you just don't have time to really sometimes fix what you need to when you're constantly having to travel and go to all these other places. So yeah, there's definitely a bit of a mindset and strategic planning for K-State to stay at home a little bit earlier in the season for this team, especially being a new group, a new feel for this K-State Wildcat team.
That time Brown tried to cut it again, but caught the tape, and K-State 2 points away from a set 1 win. Six freshmen added to the group this year, 4 more coming next year. It'll be a totally overhauled sort of ownership, culture, whatever you want to say, of the team for K-State the next 2 seasons. Set point number 1 for K-State, who has scored the last 5 points, and the second and final timeout called by UMBC. Well, the Wildcats, Sophie mentioned it, 4 matches in 9 days coming up for Kansas State. They've got this match with UMBC, then Delaware, who has been a champion of the Colonial the last couple of years, and a team that always competes in the Colonial. They're moving up a league to Conference USA this year. They'll come in on Sunday, Coach Lambert's team, and then NC State will be in on Wednesday. They have a new head coach, a longtime assistant that has now taken over the program. A lot of new faces for NC State, a lot of freshmen. They'll be here Wednesday, and they went to the tournament a season ago, the NCAA tournament. Then Nevada close out that second tournament on the 5th, next Friday, a week from tonight. And then UCSB, the return trip out to the Gauchos, and then the week after that, K-State will go to North Carolina. So as you said, there are some still tougher in name opponents. You have NC State coming in here. You're going to go see UCSB, who's normally pretty good, especially at home. And North Carolina, we saw last year, a program that seems to be on the rise. They're receiving votes in the top 25, just outside the rankings. So there will be some tests before K-State begins Big 12 play a month from now or so against the 2 Arizona schools here in Manhattan.
Yeah, you know, it's going to pick up right away after preseason gets over, you know, right into Big 12 action, and it's going to be wild for the Wildcats. They've got to be ready to play at home and be tough at home and make these teams who are ranked, you know, Arizona State, and you've got Utah and BYU and KU. You've got all these teams that will be coming here to Manhattan, and you've got to take advantage of that home environment and win at home. Yep,
KU, Baylor, all ranked. Colorado receiving votes. Arizona State, the champions of the league last year. Roll shot by Brown. Myers, popped up by Howard. Back to Brown. This time denied by Williams.
Great job there by Williams. She closed with that left hand and did not let her have that cross-court shot.
Jordan Williams. Boy, the Wildcats want her to have a healthy final year of volleyball. Big-time player in the middle. Helps K-State finish on a 6-0 run. We're back with set 2. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN+.
Behind every winning team is a playbook. Ours, it's built on trust, team, care, passion. Headquartered in Manhattan, Kansas, and founded by proud K-State alumni, we're purple to the core. Just like our passion for the Cats, our passion to make buying and selling equipment simple, transparent, and straightforward runs deep. At Purple Wave Auction, our #1 play is connecting buyers and sellers across the country with no reserves and no surprises. From ag and construction to fleet equipment, we're your trusted team. Purple Wave Auction, proud sponsor of K-State Athletics.
Hey, grab me one too.
What we grow here defies expectation. Hungry minds searching for answers. Explorers of the impossible. Breakthroughs without end. People who see the world not as it is, but as it could be. You'd be amazed at what we grow here.
First set in the books. K-State ends it on a 6-0 run. Pushes their hit percentage up to 220. You can see 10 attack errors for UMBC. 4 blocks by K-State in that first set contributing to that. Neither side with an ace, but Shaylee Myers, Liz, carrying the Wildcats here towards the end of that first set. 7 kills, hitting .429. She also has 5 digs as she and Clinton play some of the back row.
Yeah, just like I mentioned earlier, she's one of those players that she may not be the big fancy, she's not, you know, crushing it, but she makes smart plays at the net, and she finds the right time to bring the power and then the right time to place the ball. She's a really smart player for the Wildcats, and again has that ability to really make an impact in the game.
I think the Wildcats feel like they've got 3 or 4 hitters on the pins that can have that type of night any night.
But you know, the Wildcats really wanted that last year, but they suffered you know, the loss of Liz Grigorski with the injury, and that just kind of interrupted that kind of the outside hitter 3-person rotation that they had going on. And you see it's similar, you know, this year you've got that ability to move those players around. They can all play right side, they could all play outside, and they have the ability to really put the ball down. Yeah,
interesting, K-State on their roster, they list every single outside hitter as also an opposite hitter. So as you try and build out a chart or you try and do research on a team, again, trying to show all of their hitters are multifaceted and can play both in the back row, they can play on the right side. You don't know where they're coming from. And ideally, especially with this faster offense that Jason Mansfield, who runs most of the offense for K-State, has employed this season, they want to have it so you're on your heels defensively, not knowing where the ball's going to come from.
Yeah, and you know, week to week, maybe that'll change a little bit because it doesn't really change the team a whole lot, but might be, hey, this hitter's having better numbers in practice, you know, on the opposite this week. And then maybe there will be a little bit of that going on and keep teams on their toes, that's for sure.
Clinton and the Wildcats beginning the second set. Trying to go up 2-0 before intermission. On a busy night in the Big 12, the biggest match of the night taking place in Lawrence, where the Jayhawks are battling 8th-ranked Wisconsin. Kansas ranked in the top 25 as well to begin the season, and they are split at the intermission, a set apiece. Wisconsin won the first 25-16. Jayhawks, the new coaching staff, no longer Ray Bouchard after all those decades leading the KU Jayhawks. Now a new coach, and Kansas up on the second set, winning that 25-18. A big early test for those two teams that have aspirations for deep runs in December. Brown will serve. She had a hot hand early, 4 kills, but ended up hitting 0%. K-State shut her down late. Out of system are the Retrievers. Free pass to K-State. From the middle, Myers. K-State trying to get her the ball, sensing a hot hand and a block on Dobbs. Reagan Fox and Schmidt, K-State's tallest block, combined to slow down the star outside hitter.
Yeah, again, we were seeing really nice job by the outside hitters setting up the block so that the middles can close and really kind of shut down the outsides of UMBC, who have been pretty successful early on. We've seen that kind of slow down here later in the match.
Wildcats able to ease off the high hand shot by Dobbs. Back-to-back attack errors by the Retrievers. K-State up 2. So Dobbs, who also, along with Brown, had a hot hand early. Now 5 kills, 3 errors for her. This time Dobbs saw the block early and was able to use it.
Yeah, really smart play there by Dobbs. Just a little swipe off those hands.
And that'll send Hannah Howard, the libero, back to serve for the Retrievers. Kaylee Pond, freshman, the receiver of the serve. And Clinton is blocked.
That set was a little inside for Clinton. Didn't quite get her feet to that ball. Left it a little short on that attack.
Schmidt. Just a little love tap to the middle.
Yeah, we've seen that play for the Wildcats before, find some success. UMBC just not making an adjustment on that. Kind of tip to the donut, you know, the heart of the court.
Couple of kills, 2 digs, 3 blocks for Schmidt. The Wildcats don't have an ace, but it feels like they've served pretty well. Clinton gets the ball up. Pond, decent job getting it to the middle. Dobbs, huge block, and it's kept in by K-State. Rally continues. Myers. Touched. Back to Myers. This time she powers it through the block.
Great defensive rally by both sides, making great digs. And Myers with a nice hit. Those hands for the Retrievers, they were kind of coming down. They might have jumped just a little early, thinking of that a little bit faster tempo.
Excellent serve receive by Howard, and that's turned into a middle hit and finish. Serve was not easy. Then Howard, well off to her left, was able to control it right to her setter.
Yeah, you know, really such a big part of what you're able to do with this as a setter is depends on that pass. And so struggling early on, but here making some adjustments.
Former libero of the year in Howard, and now an ace for the Retrievers. First of the night for Emma Georgevich. Top kid in the class for UMBC. Myers, a cross-court deep shot. Shaylee Myers now bumping near double digits.
It's just a nice attack. That deep corner cross-court shot is just so hard to defend. you know, as that libero, are they staying outside the block to get that cross-court shot, which she's capable of hitting, or staying deep and covering the corner? It's a great shot. And again, Shaylee Myers mixing up her shots constantly.
This time a little farther off the net. Could not get it inside the block. Tried to get in under the hands. Denied on that attempt. Retrievers will serve. Wildcats won the first 25-20 with a 6-0 run down the stretch. Well, they did give the credit to kill to Shaylee Myers. My apologies. Now a block by Williams. A complete roof by Williams on the right side against the left pin.
You really feel like K-State's made some adjustments with their blocking on these 2 hitters here as the match has progressed.
6 blocks now for Kansas State. And into the net on UMBC. Couldn't see a timeout here by Casey Kreider.
I had noticed when they were warming up, I felt like a lot of their sets were pretty tight to the net. And you see that that's causing a little bit of trouble for the Retrievers.
Izzy Osvig, the sophomore, all AEC rookie team member a year ago, could have gone to a 2-setter rotation this year. Looks like they're going to go with 5-1, at least to start here with Osvig. It's a bit of a change from what they had a season ago. Myers kept alive by UMBC to Dobbs, and no touch. A 5-0 run here by Kansas State, and a timeout burned by UMBC. Kansas State trying to get a big lead in the second set. We'll return to Morgan Family Arena. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN+. Well, here's a look at the Big 12 volleyball preseason poll for this year. BYU, Jason Mansfield in an event prior to tonight, speaking with donors, said he felt BYU was somewhat in a class of themselves to begin the year, but he said KU, Arizona State are not far behind, and then everybody else is going to be kind of jockeying to get in that 4th spot, and it could be anybody. He felt like the top 8 teams, and then add in a Houston or Iowa State, who historically have been very good. It could be up to 10 that are battling for a top half finish in the conference.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know, interesting. The parity in the conference is always, you know, something to look forward to. And, you know, BYU definitely has loaded themselves, and as Coach Mansfield said, definitely has that ability to kind of be who everyone's chasing.
They bring back the most experience and some great transfers added in. Dobbs could not be dug by Clinton. So Dobbs out of the timeout, able to end that 5-0 run with her 7th kill. That's just the 3rd kill in this second set by UMBC. They had 5 errors on 2 kills and 12 swings total. Toronto, Ohio. Who knew Toronto was a city in Ohio? But if you want to know where that's at, it's right on the side of Ohio, closer to Pittsburgh. It's about 45 minutes west of Pittsburgh, south of Youngstown, Ohio.
I had wondered, actually, when I was looking and saw that she was from Toronto, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, you start to write Toronto and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be Canada, O-N for Ontario, and that's O-H. Oh, all right.
Fun fact, Brian. It's great. Love it.
Quick set to the middle, and Williams able to finish. So K-State pushing to try and get the middles involved here a little bit.
I'm a big proponent of that, you know, to get those middles going, because again, it opens up those outsides, and you rely on your outside so much in transition. And if you're a good defensive team, you want to be able to throw the ball outside and get attacks in that transition aspect. But to get those middles going when you have the opportunity is so important.
Brown with a blast. UMBC says it was a touch, and the challenge card is coming up from Casey Kreider. There is an experimental rule this year that you don't have to use the cards anymore, that you can just say that you want to challenge, and the official will do a hand signal, basically the letter C, to say that it is a challenge, and then go to the monitor to take a look at this. So the ruling is no touch. One of the 5 things you can review is whether or not there was a touch on this play, and while Mary Farragher will take a look at the replay, anything else?
University of Maryland, Baltimore County is challenging that there was a touch on the block.
There you go. Push to talk, just like we have in basketball, and can hear what's being ruled and reviewed.
Constantly evolving.
The hard part with volleyball, it's much like tennis. You really need some sort of cameras at every possible angle down the line, some sort of tracker on the ball, and the more high-speed cameras you have, the better, because you can see the ball, when it gets smoked by an outside hitter, it just becomes a blur.
Yeah.
Because it's hit so hard. And is there a definitive finger bending back that actually touched the ball? The question here. You got Reagan Fox. You could make an argument there was a finger there bent back, but is it because of the ball, or was she inside of it?
Yeah, I get it wrong every time, so I can't say. You can definitely make the argument maybe that it got some fingers there, but.
And there's no more of the call stands or it's confirmed. It'll either be we're going as it's called on the floor, or it's going to be overturned. And there'll be no discussion of whether or not there was enough evidence or not. Just one or the other. It's either yay or nay. De facto timeout here for UMBC. You feel like this point's way more important for the Retrievers than it is for K-State here early.
Absolutely, you know, just trying to slow that momentum K-State has. Currently, they've been putting all the pressure there on the Retrievers. They just haven't been able to pass well, really get offensively going. And so they're just not putting a lot of pressure on K-State. So a little timeout to try to slow that momentum. They're not going to complain about it.
After review, the call is reversed. Point to UMBC. And UMBC retains their challenge.
So after review, deemed that K-State did in fact touch this. The challenge won by Casey Kreider means that he will keep the challenge and not lose one of his 2 before the 5th set. Now it's a matter of getting in the right rotation. So I think everyone's trying to figure that out for the Retrievers. So instead of it being 11-6, the point goes to the Retrievers to kill to Jalen Brown. It's her 5th. And in comes Molly Penn, junior defensive specialist, to serve it up.
Yeah, after a break like that, Coach Kreider was checking to make sure they had the right next server.
Williams didn't quite get on top of the ball. Big block on Brown. And keeping it on the UMBC side was Shaylee Myers. It'll be Myers to go back to serve. Career almost 2.5 kills per set now in her senior season. 22 matches with 10 kills or more. Really got hot late last year. Had double-figure kills 9 times last season, but 7 of those came in the last 11 matches of the season. Reagan Fox inside the block.
See, Brown was lined up pretty well on Fox, but Reagan Fox had just a nice hard hit into those hands.
Young lady that was committed to Rutgers ended up, because of a coaching change, becoming available, came to K-State. And remember at the time, Jason Mansfield and his staff were just loving the idea that they got someone with the talent of Reagan Fox that early in their time here at K-State to come here. And after she's sat and paid her dues, redshirted, didn't play a whole lot last year, 7 sets, 4 matches, getting a chance to shine this year for K-State. Big swing by Fox, but did not get the hands. She can bring the heat with those long arms, 6'2", and as a right-handed player on the right side, you don't see that a ton, but that's been her spot since she's come to K-State. Fox 2 kills, 2 errors. K-State as a team hitting 224, 235 in this set, just touched over by Williams. And Brown able to rattle it around inside of Williams for another kill. Jalen Brown was 6.
See that shift in momentum there just a little bit. That little timeout / review.
It has worked to the Retrievers' favor, no doubt, both on the result and the play after. Clinton on a little bit of a higher set, able to finish. 4 kills for Clinton, who gets back to 0 on the hitting percentage with 4 errors. Open the night talking about Clinton. It's been a relatively quiet start for the senior, but on 18 swings, 4 kills, couple of digs. Williams. Blasted by Fury. Speaking of quick sets.
That's the best middle attack we've seen by the Retrievers here tonight. Great pass. And you like that, pushing that tempo there in the middle. One-on-one opportunity.
One blocker for Fox. She doesn't see the return off the block, and it falls right at her feet. And it's a 1-point set. Brown. Bombed all the way over for Clinton. She snaps it in.
It's a great swing and transition by Clinton. Off the net, just high and deep. See, defense thought for sure it was going out, but she's able to keep that ball in the court.
See Fox talking with Jason Mansfield as she comes out. A lot of teaching this younger group, the ones that are starting to get a taste of playing all the time. What did you see? What can we do better? Here's what you can do better. Here's how you approach this. Jason Mansfield, an outside hitter guru in his time at Washington and Stanford. Won a national championship during that time, 7 Final Fours. Coached 25 All-Americans, 5 Olympians at the outside hitter position during those times. Clinton. Bit on the run, set to Dobbs, and she tried to get the inside hand, but missed. Side out for the Wildcats midway through the second.
Dobbs has been a little quiet for the Retrievers here as of late. They'd really like to see her get going here. Front row, has the ability to produce some kills for the Retrievers.
Block on Lamas. That was Myers. Back to Myers. Kept alive. Retrievers to Dobbs. Just thrown over. Schmidt on a slide. Not well run. Hahn digs it, but no one else can get there. And the finish of the rally goes to Lamas. That slide, well, Brenna Schmidt's been able to get it in a couple of times. It's just been a skosh off for K-State.
Yeah, you know, it's such a tempo play that if you're just a little out of sync, you just can't get anything on it. And it's just a missed opportunity, you know. When you make a good defensive play, get that opportunity to run that play, you want to be able to put it down.
Dobbs into a big block, bumps it across. Schmidt, pancake save by Sims. And then Myers off the block, able to turn the rally towards K-State.
Sims filling a very big role this year in that libero jersey. Has that ability to really make some plays for the Wildcats. You see it there, that no give up in her. She's gonna go after every ball.
Right shot of the reaction of Schmidt there. Myers with a dozen kills now for K-State. And an ace for the Wildcats, their first. And it is Sims who had the big play in that rally as the libero. Her first year starting as the libero. Second on the team last year with 2.47 digs per set. Led the team in aces a season ago. Product out of Frisco, Texas. Dobbs, Clinton with a ding, but over the net. Tough to get that all the way left side. Dobbs passes across. Pipe shot for Clinton. One block, but LeGrand to clean it up. Here's Myers, batted back. LeGrand scrambling. Myers gets it off of Howard for her 13th kill.
Again, you see that ability to mix it up. Myers with the line shot this time has been hitting pretty hard for cross court. This time with the line shot. Caught that libero sneaking up, trying to cover for tip.
13 kills, hitting .379. Kansas State feeling like they were on their way to a better year because of how they prepped and practiced. And for more on that, let's go to Sophie Smith.
Yeah, Brian, I got the chance to talk with Coach Mansfield earlier this week, and he told me that this fall camp was the best of his career, and he credited that to his returning players who really put in that work in the spring that allowed them to hit the ground running come this fall. He told me that very early on, they worked on their system work and organization, which they haven't got to so early in the past. And he said that this is the most prepared and cohesive group that he's had with a clear starting lineup, which hasn't always come together so quickly.
No, I mean, you have 6 freshmen, but you're not asking any of those freshmen to go out there and start day one. I think it's led to a bit of an advantage for K-State to be able to start this quick.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like we mentioned, you know, this is a kind of a very different team than what K-State has been in the last couple of years, but also a veteran team, and then a lot of these players are returning, have been in the program, been in the system, and so, yeah, to be able to hit the ground running in preseason, you know, adding in those freshmen and just continuing to build that, you know, progress is you know, something that I think will lead to a lot more success this year for K-State.
LeGrand, Williams, Schmidt, Myers, and Clinton. That group of 5 have played a lot of volleyball for K-State on the court. Now, Fox, Sims as well, I guess, is in that group. But Fox and the rest of the freshmen all new and relatively have not played a lot. So they're the ones that are still learning to step up into a new role. LeGrand, perhaps a little bit. First year as the lone starter at center. Worked as part of a 6-2 the last couple of years. The Wildcats started to get their feet underneath them. Williams with another big block. This one on Frankovic.
Yeah, that was all Williams there on that block. She got Myers to jump with the setter. And she had a one-on-one opportunity, but Williams does a nice job sealing that net.
4th block for Williams, 7th for K-State. Slide for Jordan Williams, and that'll get in. It's a little bit of a twist there for K-State's offense.
Yeah, nice defensive pickup there in the back row by Pond. And then LeGrand to be able to get that ball in tight quarters to Williams. And Williams actually the nice, really good first swing we've seen. We've seen her kind of place the ball more earlier. This time she really takes a nice swing and uses the block.
Quick set turned out by Kansas State. They're up by 6, their largest lead. Pond, another good cover. Quick set middle. Williams again trying to get involved. Another touch. Back to Williams. Hot hand, perhaps. Myers. And Clinton denied from the X.
Yeah, tough play because Myers got pulled out of opportunities. So really your only attacker was back row, and the retrievers were ready for that.
So they force the side out. They end the 5-0 run by K-State. 7 kills for Dobbs, 7 for Brown. A low pass, Myers the return. It's dug out by Dobbs. Brown tried to touch it and catch the block. She did not. Missed everybody. That'll get Fox back on the floor for K-State. And the lead is back to a half a dozen. And now you've got 3 hitters in the front row with Fox, Williams, and Myers. LeGrand with an ace. LeGrand has a deceivingly good serve. A lot of drop as it crosses the net for the Papillion, Nebraska native, just outside of Omaha. Brown again had a great start to tonight. It's been a little error prone since.
Yeah, I feel like for UMBC, their outside hitters are almost trying to avoid the block instead of using the block as they were earlier on in the match. And that's led to some errors.
Frankovic hasn't seen the ball much lately. Good decision by UMBC to give her a touch. Late in the second set, trying to salvage a little bit before intermission. And back to serve is the junior Molly Penn. Reagan Fox on the left.
Nice deep attack there by Reagan Fox. Didn't quite get a lot of pop on it, but sails it nice and deep and makes that defender make a play.
1-on-1, 3 people up front, 3 blockers went to 3 hitters. Fox took care of the business. Set point. Miss hit in the back row as a couple of people collide. Right side, Fox! Reagan Fox heating up here at the end of this second set, and the Wildcats take the second frame, 25-16. And again, it's the late offense in the set that's good enough for the Wildcats. The redshirt sophomore Reagan Fox with 3 kills.
Behind every winning team is a playbook. Ours, it's built on trust, team, care, passion. Headquartered in Manhattan, Kansas, and founded by proud K-State alumni, we're purple to the core. Just like our passion for the Cats, our passion to make buying and selling equipment simple, transparent, and straightforward runs deep. At Purple Wave Auction, our #1 play is connecting buyers and sellers across the country with no reserves and no surprises. From ag and construction to fleet equipment, we're your trusted team. Purple Wave Auction, proud sponsor of K-State Athletics.
What we grow here defies expectation. Hungry minds searching for answers. Explorers of the impossible. Breakthroughs without end. People who see the world not as it is, but as it could be. You'd be amazed at what we grow here.
This field belongs to the ones who take it. This season doesn't come with the script. This is where everything is earned, and we mean everything. We don't do handouts here. You want the spotlight? Earn it. You want to shine different? Prove it. 30 years strong, and we keep shining brighter. This is Big 12 football. This is a different league.
Brian Smoller, Liz Wagner-Bush back with you here in Morgan Family Arena. Let's take a look at what we've seen so far here. And outside hitters on the pins is what we opened up talking tonight about, and K-State lived up to that with Shaylee Myers having a big night. Yeah,
Shaylee's really stepping in and just effective on both sides of the net, but also her ability to move the ball around has led to her success tonight. And really, K-State has put so much pressure on UMBC with their block.
7 blocks by Kansas State already in this match. That's contributed to the 19 attack errors by UMBC. 34 digs for the Retrievers, so getting back to that identity of chasing the ball and keeping it up in rallies. They just haven't been able to maintain pace with K-State's offense. Myers, a huge game so far. 13 kills, hitting .367 for Myers out on the left side. She's added 7 digs, 5 for Anaya Clinton in the kill department. Leading the way for the Retrievers, 7 each for Dobbs and for Jalen Brown. What's your takeaway on the play of Shaylee Myers to this point? Yeah, very impressed and not surprised that she's being a very consistent, effective outside there for the Wildcats. She is more than capable of carrying a heavy load for the Wildcats, much like Anaya Clinton is. And the nice thing about this team for the Wildcats this year is they do have that ability for different players to step into that role depending on what their team needs. Let's take a look at some of those Shaylee Myers highlights from the first 2 sets. She has done it both on the left and the right, and even from the middle, the pipe, if you will, for Kansas State. Product out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln Southwest High School, the former high school All-American, worked very hard this offseason to try and get more lift on her jump. Just felt like she was not playing athletically the way that she wanted to play, and attacked the offseason to have a best senior year possible, and it's paid off. Jason Mansfield was open about it before the match, saying that Shaylee Myers has been our best player in the gym. There were a lot of days it was like that last fall. It has been unquestionably like that this fall, with Reagan Fox a close second, and those two have lived up to the billing, and Fox with a late flurry there in that second set. Yeah, I think just a very reassuring sign for the Wildcats. You know, who was going to carry this offensive load after the loss of Aaliyah Carter and the amount of kill production that she had for the Wildcats? Who was going to do that? Because it's, you know, it's definitely going to be someone's going to need to step into that role. And again, we talked about Anaya Clinton. She has that ability too, but Shaylee Myers tonight is stepping into that role. Look at Myers as K-State gets ready for this 3rd set. All right, let's flip it. Look back at your keys to victory now. Do we change anything on this list for either team as they go to the 3rd set? I mean, you're UMBC, you're behind by 2. You got to find a way to win regardless. Does anything change here for them as they attack this 3rd set? I mean, I definitely think they got to continue to work to get K-State out of system. Early on in the 1st set, that's kind of how they clawed back in, is their serve put a lot of pressure on K-State, and they weren't able to run the tempo they wanted to. So if they can get back to that, I think their defense has been great. So just continue that effort. And then K-State's
doing a nice job. They're passing much better here late in the match, and they have been very good on eliminating those errors.
Casey Kreider looking on, going up against his friend Jason Mansfield, the two coached together at Stanford. Casey Kreider, an interesting sort of twist, that he has a connection with Jason Mansfield that also bleeds over into podcasting a little bit. Casey Kreider, if you're a volleyball fan, you know all about the head coach of UMBC. For more on that, let's go to Sophie Smith.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Mansfield and Kreider, he said that he was one of the most intelligent coaches that he knows, and one of the most intelligent coaches in the profession. Just someone who's really good at creating new stressors in practice to push his team and really help them learn in different ways. And he even shared some of those philosophies on one of the most popular coaching podcasts, Coach Your Brains Out. And Coach Mansfield said that UMBC is a tough team to play first because they're so well coached and they know the game at such a high level.
Yeah. Coach Your Brains Out is a very popular volleyball podcast. Has coaches from all over the country, but Casey Kreider from UMBC is a regular guest on that podcast, talking about some of the mental approach of volleyball. What was the phrase he used with us?
The anti-fragility. Wants his team to have anti-fragility. Talked about being a little philosophical and reading some things about some resilience in his team and what he wants to see out of them.
They showed it early on, and now we'll see a little bit of that necessary anti-fragility, sort of shake it off. Can you find a way to continue to grow even when you're down and up against it? K-State trying to put the finishing touches on this opening night debut. Up 2-0. LeGrand recognized only one person in the back row, found a hole.
Yeah, this time a little bit deeper push on that attack over by LeGrand. Smart heads up play. You almost see her look, see if that's open, find that spot.
Great serve by K-State is another ace. Only 3 aces, but it feels like K-State's done a good job on their serve.
Yeah, definitely pressure, and it's a point of emphasis for Coach Mansfield and the coaching staff with their team, is working on, you know, different ways of serving what you want to achieve out of it. Pace and put a lot of pressure. You want to float and have it drop. You know, the short serve, we saw that earlier, and they got in the way of the attacking ability of the retrievers. So that ability to move the ball around with your serve and put a lot of pressure on the teams you're playing against.
First point for UMBC as they side out. The retrievers will serve with their libero, Howard. Former libero of the year in the league as a freshman. Wide of the mark for Lamas. Won a club national championship in Spain. Saren Madden, the new setter for UMBC, running the show now. So Osvig, who was running as the setter in the first 2 sets, replaced by the senior Madden, native of Turkey. Dobbs, did she catch a hand? She did not. Wheels starting to fall off a little bit here for the retrievers.
Yeah, feeling that pressure from K-State, starting to make those errors.
Madden, the new setter, goes back to Dobbs, dug out by Sims. Myers off the block.
See that tempo on the outside, had that block for UMBC, not able to close in time for the kill.
Timeout taken by UMBC. We'll take it as well. The Wildcats rolling in the 3rd set, trying to win in a straight sweep. Their home opener on ESPN+. end of sets that has allowed K-State to be up 2 sets to none, but they've started on a hot streak to begin the third, forcing an early timeout by UMBC. A lot of smiling from Jason Mansfield as he high-fives his team out to the court. LeGrand, Clinton, Myers, all with at moments tonight, but Myers has stolen the show. 16 kills, hitting .400 from the left side, and not surprising based on the praise heaped on her by the coaching staff. Right side, super high set for Lamas. A little bit off the net for Myers, whose career high is 23. I don't know if she'll get credit for a kill there or not. It sounds like she will. And add another one to Myers' ledger for tonight. But this group that K-State's got, the veteran group of Clinton, Myers, Williams, Schmidt, LeGrand, these are all seniors that are all be moving on at the end of this season. K-State has 6 freshmen that a couple have been on the cusp of playing. Of course, Kaylee Pond has played a lot tonight in the back line for K-State. And they'll have 4 more coming in next year, part of another big recruiting class that's ranked in the top 10 nationally. So you're going to have this program suddenly look a lot different. Jason Mansfield has his players in. It's interesting, you see other places, coaches sometimes they'll build by, they're going to enact their style, and it may mean a cleaning of house, so to speak. That was not the case with Jason Mansfield. He really wanted everyone to feel welcome and stay, including incoming recruits. So it's taken a little bit longer for him to get their recruits, the ones that they've gone out and sought, to fit what they want to do into the program. See Jordan Williams, the effect that she can have in the middle of the net. Dealt with injuries the last couple of years, both with K-State and at Kentucky. And another ace for the Wildcats. And starting to stack up on the Retrievers. Dating back to the end of the second set, it's a 20-4 run by Kansas State. LeGrand with 2 aces and 1 dig away from a double-double. Another near ace. Dropped in by Osvig, who has returned center in the front.
Not much she could do besides throw that ball over the net. Luckily, she was in the front row.
Grant on the run, puts it up and gets out of the way of Fox. Brown off the net, couldn't get it over. Location consistency on some of the sets for the Retrievers has not been good.
Yeah, it makes it difficult. Hitters trying to mix up the shot, but also adjust to those kind of variances in those the sets that they're getting.
Brown this time able to tool the block. Number 8 for Brown. His career high is 10, set a couple of times last season with the Bulls of South Florida. Again, highly touted coming out of high school, among the top 15 in the state of Florida in kills, and an All-American. Frankovich to the back line, 3-year player. And a service there, not needed for UMBC. 4 aces, 3 errors for K-State, an ace, 2 errors now for Casey Kreider's Retrievers. And truthfully, he told us that their focus isn't on necessarily winning these matches, that they're trying to do that, but they're trying to build the whole season, because it really comes down to, for these teams that are out of these conferences like America East, you got to win the tournament. You got to win that 3-match or 3-day tournament at the end of the season to get into the NCAA tournament. You're not getting an at-large bid.
Right, regardless of how well you do preseason, You know, you knock off every ranked team, you know, you play, it's still likely not enough for them to get, that at-large bid. So that conference tournament is huge for them.
Quick set to Schmidt. Jason Mansfield firing his fist at the success of LeGrand and Schmidt in the middle.
Yeah, you know, it's been a point of emphasis. You know, coaches have talked about that, getting those middles involved. Been outside heavy in the past, and I think that's something that they've really wanted to be better about.
Regardless of the pass, try and push the middle. Hard, easy to say, hard to do when you're playing the game.
Right. And that kind of that tempo, always having that tempo that they've been running, really lends toward if the middle's getting up, being able to push that middle because you're used to running that tempo regardless of where that pass is.
Serve rate at Clinton. Worked hard in her pass game this offseason. No touch for Clinton. They're claiming there was a touch. K-State is, and they will challenge. Clinton says yes. Jason Mansfield, why not? You're up 2-0. Haven't used a challenge yet. Got a couple. We'll hear Mary Farragher give us the explanation here in just a moment, but a challenge on a touch. The first by K-State. You see Jason Mansfield talking with Kaylee Pond, Virginia Player of the Year last year.
Does look like I might get that outside hand there.
You're right.
Kansas State is challenging that there was a touch on the block.
I think you're right. Yeah, that looks, the frame that the ball we got on this one looks like that's a pretty obvious pinky that's bent back there for Claudia Lamas. Here's the high-speed camera. If you're a volleyball coach, you dream of having it every spot. If money were no object. I'm going to go back to Callie Pond for a moment. The freshman that we saw talking with Jason Mansfield, one of the best all-around volleyball players in the country. There she is, #1.
Kansas State, after review, the call is reversed. The point will go to Kansas State, and Kansas State retains their challenge.
Clinton gets the kill. Pond, when she was in high school, 2,200 plus kills, almost 2,300 kills. 1,300 digs, the Virginia Player of the Year as a junior, top recruit in the state as an outside hitter at 5'6", but here she is at K-State as a defensive specialist, perhaps future libero. Just a great all-around volleyball player.
That's what you want. You just want players like that, especially in that lead position. Someone that really understands the game, not only from the back row perspective, but from the front row. So, yeah, a great pickup for the Wildcats.
That has been somewhat of the MO of the Wildcats under Jason Mansfield. Try and find just great all-around players to add to your team. Ella Larkin comes to mind from last year. Just a great all-around player that ended up being libero for K-State and having a great senior season. Beach volleyball player at that. Service error by the Wildcats. As Clinton tried to short serve. Midway through in this third set, Wildcats won the first two, 25-20, 25-16. They have gained momentum as the night has gone on. LeGrand. A sneaky good night and debut for LeGrand in her first as a 5-1 leader of this team.
Yeah, this time again, another mix-up by LeGrand. Goes the opposite direction, away from the heart of the court, towards the sideline.
Career best 4 kills for LeGrand. She's added 2 aces, 28 assists, 9 digs. Could get 10 right there. Ball popped up. Dodged through the block. LeGrand couldn't close it with Williams.
I think her best swing since early on in this match in set 1. Nice high shot just through the hands of that block.
close it. It was Williams that was coming down that could not close the block. In time, there was the line for Dobbs. Double doubles a year ago as a freshman.